Hello, lovely people. I just wanted to do a quick video about a very common objection that comes up around memory reconsolidation. So one of the things that I'll often remind people about is that whenever you get the kind of transformational change that mean that the trauma is completely gone, it means that memory reconsolidation has taken place, because memory reconsolidation is the only brain mechanism that we know of anyway that has that capacity to overwrite old trauma. So if you're no longer managing trauma, if it's actually gone and you're not, and that problem is gone, you're not thinking about that anymore, it doesn't show up in life and it's permanent, then memory reconsolidation must have happened. And one of the things that sometimes occurs is that when you say that to people, it triggers up in many therapists and coaches like, oh no, not someone else saying that this is the only way to do therapy. This is the right way to do therapy. Because we've heard that an awful lot, haven't we? And it almost seems like each year there's a new thing that comes out and it's like, this is the only way to do therapy. So I wanted to address that, because the real benefit of memory reconsolidation is that it puts to bed the idea that there is only one way to do therapy. What there is one destination if you're looking to do trauma removal. And of course, in terms of therapy, not everyone does want trauma removal. Sometimes people are working through things very much in the present, like grief or whatever. But in the kind of work I tend to do, which is where there's a psychological injury that's still getting in the way of life, then memory reconsolidation is the one destination that I'm going to. But what I wanted to show you here today is to let you understand that just because there's one destination, and that's just a biological limitation, that's how the brain works, there is one mechanism that overrides trauma. But just because we have one destination, don't let that mean that you have to abandon the way you work at the moment, or to think that there's a right way of doing therapy, or that there's even one way of achieving memory reconsolidation. When we do memory reconsolidation work, basically what the brain needs is to activate an old prediction and then deliver a prediction error, what we might call a mismatch. And then we repeat that experience of prediction followed by prediction error. And what that then does is give the brain what it needs. It triggers that mechanism and it overwrites the old prediction with the new. Now, in terms of the work that we do in the therapy room, there's kind of like two main stages, I suppose. First of all, it's what is often referred to as discovery work, where we're trying to find out what the prediction is that's keeping the problem alive. And then what we're looking to do is generate the prediction error. Now, the aim of that is so that we can trigger the mechanism. And so we've got the one destination, but actually there's lots and lots of different ways that you can do each of those steps. And you've probably got ways that you practice at the moment where you think, oh yeah, I suppose that's what I'm doing in my work at the moment. In this part of the work where we do this or that or the other, I'm just trying to identify what's the prediction that's keeping the problem alive. Now, even in just that part of the work, there are so many ways to do therapy in order to discover that. So narrative therapy has a way of doing it. Internal family systems has a way of doing it. Transactional analysis will have a way of doing it. Coherence therapy will have a way of doing it. And there's probably going to be a model that's invented in the next 12 months that will also have a way of doing it. And so, in fact, there are many, many different ways of getting to the same destination. Now, the analogy that I often use, if I want to get to my friend's front doorstep, then I do need to enter his street and I do need to walk up his path. But everything before then is up for grabs. I could get a bus, I could get I could cycle, I could walk, I could jog, I could get the train or whatever. So when people hear of this, it's very common for their initial reaction to go, oh no, there's just one way of doing this. But no, it's a destination. And how you get there, well, there's all sorts of wonderful ways, which can be then customized and tailored to how the client likes to work and how you like to work. There's an infinite number of ways, I believe, of getting to the place where the brain actually triggers the mechanism of memory reconsolidation and so overrides the trauma. There's probably an infinite number of ways in which you can identify the prediction, notice the prediction, work with the prediction. And there's probably an infinite number of ways in which you can generate a prediction error as well, either conversationally or imaginally or through movement or through art or whatever. So in this video, I just want to give you full permission and full license just to notice that even though I'm saying that there's only one brain mechanism that's capable of overriding trauma, there is actually a multitude of ways to reach that destination. And so you can have full license to invent, to improvise, to create, to repurpose things that are out there, to tweak the way that you work already, knowing that even though there's only one brain mechanism that will override trauma, there's actually loads and loads and loads of different ways. So that idea of when anybody says there's only one way to do therapy, it is false. There's simply one destination. And the wonderful thing about that is that you don't have to throw the baby out with the bathwater. The way that you work will probably just need some tweaks once you understand how it all works in terms of triggering that brain mechanism. And basically, we identify the prediction that's keeping the problem alive. We somehow generate a prediction error that disconfirms that old prediction, and we keep bumping the two up together, like switching between the two. And that's what gives the brain the trigger in order to release the mechanism that overrides the trauma. But wonderfully, how you get there, well, that's to be discovered. There are lots and lots of ways that already exist that do that, and there's lots and lots of ways still to be invented. So there's not one way of doing therapy. There's just one place that we get to, which is, amazingly, the complete and permanent removal of the person's trauma. So if you've got any questions on that, put them below, and I'll look forward to chatting with you soon. Take care.